Okay, good, because I'm like
That
just this short
That is not.
wine tipsy. Hey guys, I'm Kelsey Capps, reader in residence at the Wild Detectives, and this is our 1-year anniversary, so we're gonna do something special for you. Thank you for coming on this journey with us. Cocktail from the Wizard of Oz. This is Wild Books. It's like a milkshake from Santa. Before we get to Book of the Month, I wanted to let you guys know we have a Christmas campaign running right now. So if you buy a book here and you tell them at the bar, you get a free drink.
Is it a good hair day?
It's a gorgeous hair day. I love the mustache. Final book of the month is Reading Quirks by the Wild Detectives and their friend Laura Pacheco. It is a comic book anthropological study of readers. So it's all about how we dog-ear pages and sneak book purchases, and it's a great Christmas gift. You can see the illustrations here. It's gorgeous, it's funny, and we have the authors themselves here to discuss. So we got lucky this time. Javi and Andres are here to discuss. So how did this book come to be?
Well, I like 2015. I came here to take over the communication needs of the place, and I thought it would be cool to get some sort of series for social media. So I was one day in the treadmill and I was listening to a podcast that was talking about the different lives of readers, and I thought it was something there. It was kind of funny. I could see like all those traits. Weird traits happening, and I thought, yeah, that could be something we could write about.
Absolutely. I mean, the bookstore is a perfect place to see the reader in the wild, so to speak. But you're both readers yourselves, so do you have bad habits that are in this book?
A few, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can we have an example?
Well, yeah. I mean, some of them that we put there because we wrote a few. Well, most of them, and it's just like. Some of them are personal stories about how we reacted with books back when we were younger or now, like making your briefcase when you go on travel and just
loading it up.
There
yes.
so you can bring more books. I don't know, trying to find clothes where you can fit books there as well.
That one.
Yeah.
Like I wrote that one because I remember when we used to live in Dublin, and I remember around that time he was always wearing jackets. And he always had a book in the pocket, and I felt like that's so heavy.
It's the perfect accessory.
So
yes,
heavy,
it is.
Heavy, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, how do y'all know the illustrator? I mean, is she also a reader, or?
She's the sister-in-law of a really good friend of us. Well, Javi knows him.
Yeah, I mean, Laura is the sister of Carmen, who also actually wrote the prologue of the book. And Carmen's partner is Andres, who is a friend of ours, who I happen to know since kindergarten. So this is many years ago.
Awesome. Yeah, this is a long time coming project.
Yeah. But it's one of those encounters. It's a funny fact. Since we are from a very small town, we grew up pretty much together. We met in kindergarten, then we kind of like became really close friends back again in high school, like Andres and I are as well. And then, one thing led to another. He started seeing Carmen as his partner, and then Carmen happens to be a writer. So through Carmen, we met Laura, who is the illustrator. So this goes back in the time, but it's one of these serendipity things that happen. That all these really beautiful connections that end up producing this type of thing.
Well, you guys have a great network. I mean, Ben Fountain wrote an amazing introduction for it. I mean, it's beautiful.
I think one thing that we both love about the book is the fact that in the end, there are a lot of fictional characters, but probably half of the stories are based on friends of us, stories they told us, ways to kind of like tease them a little bit.
Yeah.
So it became this kind of like continuous dialogue between us and people who are not here with us in Dallas, like they are in Spain or in Ireland. And yeah, I think the fact that the whole book contains so many people that we know, and then seeing how Laura portrayed them, because Laura didn't know them, so we were sending her pictures, and she was kind of
send pictures.
Yeah. Like I was just getting to Facebook, taking some pictures, sending them to Laura, and then Laura was coming with the sketches, and I was like just amazed. Friends of us are exactly like the way she portrayed them. So
I mean, that's a long con. You gotta be careful being friends with you guys. You might end up in a comic book about your bad habits.
That could happen.
Yeah.
That could happen. Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, it's a great book. I'm super excited to pass it around to as many people as I can. So
Sounds great.
love it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
for
much.
being here.
This is for Instagram.
Me as well? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's upside down.
Is it?
It is.
It's kind of funny like that.
All right, now that the interview's over and we've talked about December's book of the month, I wanted to cover the books that we've talked about throughout the year so that you guys know what they are. It's like a Kids Bop collection, and that way if you're looking for a recap or for Christmas presents, you got a stack. Help me, Jesus, bear me strength. First book is There. It's Native American perspectives written by a Native American author. It's an adventure story. You've got lots of friendships involved in there, some death included. Really fun read. Second book is The OVERSTORY. It's a novel about the environment, how we're intertwined with it, different perspectives on it. So you have an activist, you have some students involved, and essentially it's their stories and how their lives impact with the environment around them. Then we have Black Leopard, Red Wolf. Crazy book. It's written by a prize-winning author. It's African literature, but it's written by an African American, so you get lots of different layers to it. I've never read a book like it. It has tons of African American mythology in it. Reads like an adventure tale, kind of gory, but amazing. One of my all-time favorites, probably my favorite of this year, is Women Talking. Reads like a classic book. It's relatively short, but it's essentially about a Mennonite colony, women seeking justice after rape allegations and female empowerment. It's beautiful. Next is Lost Children Archive. It's about perspectives of people who are crossing the border as told from a Mexican-American family who's trying to document it. So you get both sides of the border as well as just a really unique take on this specific problem. Then we have a memoir called The Light Years. It was written by an author who lives in New York. He's also an artist, and it's hilarious. The family in this book is hysterical, but it's really poignant. It's about a search for God and for meaning. Gorgeous book. Then we have The Invisible Valley, which is written by a Chinese author. It's in translation. The guy is a Yale professor, and essentially this is a perspective on communist China. So it focuses on a guy who's working in a communist camp. His pulls between communist government and nature, an interesting perspective into man's heart when it's caught between a totalitarian government and his own independence. Then we have On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. Beautiful book, queer love story, immigrant story, written by a poet, and you can tell, and it won a ton of awards this year. Next book, Trick Mirror. It's nonfiction. It's a collection of essays by a woman who works for The New Yorker. She's young. All the perspectives are hilarious. Each essay is different, talks about different aspects of pop culture, journalism, politics today. Really insightful read. Enjoyed it a lot. Then, probably my second favorite of the year, Underland. Robert Macfarlane is a British naturalist author. He's been writing his entire life about the environment. It's beautiful. The prose is just gorgeous. I love that he tied in tons of mythology and essentially our role in the environmental crisis today and how it ties back into our moral responsibility. Just beautiful writing. Then, They Will Drown in Their Mother's Tears. This is also a book in translation. It's by a Swedish author, and it talks about terrorism, Islamophobia, essentially like the impact that all of those things have on culture and the people who are involved in them, detained, that kind of thing. It's a blend between science fiction and adventure. I loved it. And then, of course, the Wild Detectives books, Reading Quirks. All of these books I loved this year. Obviously would and did recommend them, and they're great reads. Really looking forward to our next lineup for 2020, but all these are phenomenal. They're great presents for you and the people you love.